Studio Me Productions is a full-service video production company based in Pittsburgh. It offers custom video production services, podcast studio rentals, and communication studio build-outs. Choosing Studio Me Productions means investing in a partnership that values creativity and delivers results that exceed expectations. With a deep understanding of marketing and storytelling, Studio Me ensures your project will captivate and engage your viewers. Learn more at studiomeproductions.com. That's studiomeproductions.com. A strong work culture is the invisible force that binds employees to each other, to the company, and to their work. It's linked to better business outcomes, happier employees, and increased retention. How we work and where we work continue to evolve in almost every way, yet our human need for connection and purpose remains. Help your employees connect and thrive by evolving your culture to support your team, regardless of how or where they work. So discover how the Kindling Culture Agency can transform your company's culture at sparksomething.big.com. That's the Kindling Culture Agency at sparksomething.big.com.
CompuNetics is the leading developer of unified voice, video, and data collaboration and conferencing applications for the service provider, government, and unique workflow applications. The Summit Olympus and Evergreen platforms, driven by their encrypted user interfaces, enable powerful and secure collaboration. Combined with world-class support and innovative professional services, CompuNetics delivers the right solution every time. Learn more at compunetics.com.
This is TechVibe Radio. It's your front row seat to Pittsburgh's technology and innovation ecosystem. TechVibe is brought to you by the generous support of CompuNetics at compunetics.com, Chorus Call at choruscall.com, Highmark at highmark.com, Huntington Bank at huntington.com, the Kindling Culture Agency at thekindlingagency.com, PNC Bank at pnc.com, Savior at savior.com, and Studio Me at studiomeproductions.com. TechVibe proudly broadcasts from the Huntington Bank Studios. Let's get the show on the road. You just tuned into TechVibe Radio, and I'm your host, Jonathan Kirsting with the Pittsburgh Technology Council. Love giving you a front row seat to all the great stuff happening here in Pittsburgh's technology and innovation ecosystem. So what does the future of tech talent actually look like to you? Is it like another conversation about workforce gaps, AI disruption, and just kind of that same old pipeline kind of problem stuff that we have? Or is it something a lot more personal, maybe creative and immediate? Something that starts with how young people just actually see themselves and how they discover what they're good at and whether they can picture a place for themselves in the future of technology at all. It seems like the next generation of tech talent is pretty much already here, but we're just using the wrong tools to find them. And today we're going to dig into a big idea with some serious Pittsburgh roots. What if you could use gaming and storytelling and AI and immersive digital tools, not just to teach students about science, technology, and engineering and math and all the good stuff, but to help them actually see themselves inside those worlds as the builders and the designers and innovators and problem solvers that are just making it happen. And that is exactly the mission behind TOYZ Electronics. They've been on this show before, but we really need to revisit them again. And in case you don't know, they are a Pittsburgh-based company, and they're founded by Damola Idowu and his son, Wole. And if you follow their story over the years, you're going to know that this is not a conventional startup story by any means. Damola has long been thinking about how talent gets discovered, how potential gets nurtured, and how too many young people, especially those with ability and drive, still get overlooked because the path into tech can feel very abstract and just inaccessible, really like it's just built for somebody else. Who brings a really powerful perspective to the discussion because he was an early proof point for what this platform can do. His own journey through engineering, entrepreneurship, and emerging tech helps set the conversation from theory into how their platform at TOYZ actually works. And in this upcoming interview, it also includes, of course, my usual co-host here, our CEO of the Tech Council, Audrey Russo. And she helps us steer the conversation into some of the biggest questions facing Pittsburgh right now. How do we prepare more people for an AI-shaped economy? How do we uncover talent that might be hiding in plain sight, like I was talking about before? And how do we make sure innovation is not limited to the same circles over and over again? What follows is a fascinating stretch of conversation we had with Damola and Wole about education, identity, technology, opportunity, and why the future may belong not just to people who can use machines, but to people who can imagine, create, and innovate right alongside them. Here are Damola and Wole Idowu of TOYZ Electronics, with, of course, Audrey Russo helping me out with the interview.
Say my experience is like I'm the alpha test, from being, a neurodivergent youth from inner city. And especially with Pittsburgh being home of the NFL draft this year, I think about it. Like I was that undiscovered draft pick that my dad was able to help get to cover CMU, How do you find that raw talent and that I believe is all across Pittsburgh,
Yeah, it's all across the world.
Yes. So I graduated ECE, electrical computer engineering, 2 minors in business, having this venture-backed startup, worked at 2 Fortune 500 companies, including directly under the boss of EA Sports on Madden, working on VR, which helps with what we're talking about with digital twins and simulating experiences for students, even working in fintech. And then even now I'm back even doing a fellowship in robotics and institute. Because Pittsburgh's supposed to be the robotics capital of the world, and I'm like,
where are you now? So
so I'm still at the campus. We're still at the campus of Carnegie Mellon right now. I was just a part of the
Schwartz Center, aren't you? We had the Schwartz.
Yes.
So Wole, what's it like having been like the prototype for this platform, and the fact that you get to work with your dad every day as you're putting this thing together? I think it's a very unique relationship.
It is. And I think about something we have talked about, and how do you replicate this? Is it just, some people say, oh, no, it's just the genetics. But I'm like, no, there's always been raw prospects that I've seen. The very first student I worked with, my dad and I, when I was, 16, 17 on campus, he is literally graduating with honors as an innovation scholar at Carnegie Mellon. And I'm so proud of him, Timothy. And I'm shouting you out right now. And, I've thought about how do you replicate that? And we've worked with so many students. We've helped students who are already in HBCUs get PhD offers from like Chicago and get into Carnegie Mellon. We've started to build this as a scale and see it as an algorithm. And I think that's the engineering way to think, like, how can we scale, engineers solve problems, entrepreneurs sell solutions? So use that mindset of, okay, what is the algorithm? What are the things that helped me? And where the patterns I'm seeing and how we can help other students reach that, right? And I think we're really talented in doing that in sports. And I'm like, why don't we just do the same in intellectuals? My dad is known, and I was inspired by his magazine TOYZ that came up when I was a kid, and mixing the gaming, the interactive aspect, the storytelling aspect, and the more creative, not just thinking about just being in a lecture and classroom and, students' attention spans aren't really there for that, but being immersed and like really truly exposed to things. How do you help them see, oh, wow, actually, I do like this topic. I do like robotics. I do like artificial intelligence. I love computer vision. I actually can see myself pursuing this. I love automotive. I love manufacturing. Like, how do you help them truly meet them where they are? Because in this age, it's important to have those creative innovations and those wide range of thoughts and process. And we've seen so many talented students who've come through us and learned from us, building from that algorithm my dad opened me, and we're just bringing it to scale.
So let me give you some numbers here. 20,000 downloads, 9,000 student profiles, 400, almost approaching 500 that have been placed in the programs, informal learning, and we have approaching 500 students that we've impacted directly in Pittsburgh.
That's amazing.
On our platform.
And you guys have only just begun, which is what's so cool.
We
You're
only
just
had
now
what?
starting to- yeah.
Exactly. We got 300,000 non-dilutive. That's 150,000 from RK, 150,000 Innovation Works, 100,000 non-dilutive from Jumpstart in Ohio, and almost 500,000 in revenue.
Wow.
And that's what we've done with, and you see the team and you see me everywhere,
Yes,
the
you were everywhere.
energy. So we are fundraising. And I keep hearing people, and you know what just clicked to me? And I'm so glad we're having this conversation. I'm like, Damola, no VC would get what you're trying to do because you're one of one. They've never seen a Damola. You've not seen a Black engineer at 15 and then his son at 15. So they want you to fit the models of everything
love
that
it.
comes before.
I love it. Right. I love
But you
it.
gotta follow what he's doing. I'm like, take your data science and extrapolate. If we could get 5% of the talent pool to be like Damola and Wole, how would economic development look like?
We would change the world.
Exactly.
That's why we're asking for funds. That's what we're
Absolutely.
selling. Because I'm like, they're telling you, be like everybody else. And I'm like, I'm not.
No.
I'm not like everybody else. If I was like everybody else, I would not be where I am. I'm trying to help everybody get my secret sauce so that they can accelerate their growth. It's like an elixir that
It's like an
allows people to
elixir.
be ready for the AI world. And I'm like, it's either you believe the outcome or you don't. If you do, bet on it. Take a risk. But I'm showing you, here is my son. Here are students. Here is 500 students that have been impacted. Here is the growth. Here's
Yes.
what's happened. Do you want that to be scalable? Or
You've
do you
shown
want to
it
try
works.
broken plans that are going to give you the same bad results? Do you think that as a city we could compete if we leave 80,000 students,
Out.
you know,
Out.
Exactly.
Leave them out. I've been saying that forever. I've been
So-
saying that forever. Like, we can never be great if we think it's okay to leave these people out. Because you know
never could be
what?
great?
No.
We can't.
And when I went out there to Malaysia, they said they have 5.1 million students on their platform already. They're doing after school with 8-year-olds doing robotics and coding. And I'm like, whoa, we're building that. We're trying to make,
Exactly.
and Jonathan, we talked about all the innovation we saw and how it's behind TOYZ. TOYZ is Pittsburgh based, but the rest of the world is trying to get that sauce. And I'm like, I want to build this here.
And you're building it here, which is what's
I'm building it here. So we
Exactly.
just need help. We're raising funds and need more help on resources to continue on our journey. But here's what we've done thus far. And that's really the story.
Yeah.
We've taken it all over the world and find admirers. We have outcomes. We've changed lives. I'm here at Syracuse because I did an HBCU immersion and 29% of the kids placed and they're graduating.
Wow.
We have kids that are graduating at CMU that we brought in that came through our programs. And it wasn't possible prior to us. We have programs that had no African-American candidates. And the legacy we're following is Booker T and Andrew Carnegie, because Andrew Carnegie endowed Tuskegee at the same time he endowed Carnegie Institute.
Yep.
So there's a heritage in this city that we're building upon.
we need to keep building on this. And some of my key
Exactly.
takeaways that I keep going back to on this, Damola, is the fact that you have this platform that you've been building that's based upon your own life experience. You've used this platform, for lack of a better term, to get your son through the same success that you've had. And now you've had this thing set up to where people are now on this platform and you're starting to see really interesting results right now, right? So you're just at this point where it's, I see the launch pad starting to shake, right? But we need some of this rocket fuel. We need some investment in order to help you actually grow and scale this, because it's not about connections and things like that. You have all of that. It's literally getting fuel to make this thing just rise. And that, to us, the tech council, is, man, we got to help you. Like, you know, it's
No,
like
for sure.
And we just see the potential, and we're not, it's not just potential, we actually see what it's doing. And as Audrey mentions, when we see if there's 80,000 people here that aren't being brought along, but there's a platform that can take them along, how do we line these things up, right? And so that's
That
why
is
it's
it.
important for us to tell these stories.
Looking at Remake Learning, and I've talked with Stephanie and talked with Tyler, and looking at what Sherry is doing with Digital Foundry. We have a digital twin of the Digital Foundry that's actually on Meta.
Yes.
We've worked with 100
Yeah.
Black men for years. Now, Sherry is the aluminum woman. Most people don't know she's a CMU graduate that created the patent for the aluminum bonding process that's used in F-150. That is a local who has created something that's changed the whole world. Why isn't every young girl able to interact with her digital twin? And why isn't that used so that every young girl in the city knows about Sherry McClary
Exactly.
and the aluminum woman? And so who knows what innovation would come out of advanced manufacturing if every young girl knows somebody like them came up here and
Right.
built something that changed the world. That's what we're building. The ability to amplify everybody's story. So mentorship is superpowered, where you could not just inspire, like I just talked to them for one day and then, okay, I heard a story and then, okay, how are you helping their daily life? They need guidance. We have a platform that could do that.
That's what
Yes.
it's all about. And that's what we're here to put a light on today. And this is something to me that I'm just like, we need to have more conversations like this, but I want a call to action where if anyone's out there, the idea is like, how do we connect you to some of these resources? Like, how do we
Two things we need right
articulate this
now.
value? Yeah.
We need corporations that want to do a pilot. Our enterprise license that gives you all the analytics is $2,500. Each student you want to be able to test is $250, and those are annual.
Yeah.
We're looking for investors. We're raising a $2 million round. We want to be able to do this right now. We want to be able to get any of the PTC members that want to see next gen innovation. You want to get an early look at the innovators that are going to take, because I'm listening to the founder of Anthropic was saying, people are not preparing for the disruption that's going to happen and the skill and the speed. And everybody's getting on Claude. And I'm like, he's telling you, my machines could do a lot and they're going to disrupt industry. Are you preparing? We're knowing. We're preparing. I feel like humans can keep up because don't make humans try to compete on computation. They never will. Make humans beat machines on innovation. Machines can never innovate.
That's what
Let's
it's all about.
empower
Yeah.
every citizen to be an innovator. Intelligence
It's
beats
a really
innovation.
shifting, it's a really shifting mindset. I've been thinking about this a lot. It's a shifting mindset that you went from, I think in the 1950s, we went to 70% of the people started working for corporations. And we
Yeah.
lost our innovative muscle.
Yes.
Because before
Yes.
that, everyone was like an entrepreneur in their own way. Like I might have
Good
owned
point.
a grocery store or a fruit stand or a sandwich place or whatever. But then
Yes.
all of a sudden, corporations, right or wrong, evolved and people started getting in. Then they got their health insurance through corporations, right? Different
Yeah.
ways to get people inside, the monkey, so to speak. And, and now we're trying to say, wait a second, we got to go back to building stuff. We
Gotta
gotta
go back to building.
building
We
stuff.
have
And we
to.
lost 2 generations of
We
people
did.
who were building stuff.
Because for corporations, it's not efficient to now have humans because corporations, like everybody had this Sloan School of Management approach to building corporations, right?
Wall Street has reinforced that. So they have to
Yeah.
flip out their costs. People are their fixed costs and they got to get rid of it, right? People are their variable costs and they got to get rid of it. So whatever's variable, they work on.
And now
So-
you're seeing, Audrey, that now you have to inspire people to be more individualist, more entrepreneurial, more being able to take advantage of the capabilities of technology.
But they haven't been
platform.
programmed. You got to remember, it's an educational cycle like any kind of change. Any kind of change is about education, not formal per se, but it is partially formal. And a lot of it is through conversation and change.
That was Damola and Wole Idowu of TOYZ Electronics in conversation with, of course, me and our CEO and my co-host, Audrey Russo. There's a lot to unpack in that discussion, but one of the biggest takeaways is this. The conversation around talent has to get bigger, a lot bigger. For years, we've been talking about workforce development in terms of pipelines and credentials, degrees, hiring needs, all the good stuff. And of course, we know those things absolutely matter. But what Damola and Wole are talking about, it just goes so much deeper than that. They're asking how we can help young people discover their own capabilities earlier, how we can connect learning to identity and aspiration, and how we create new ways for students to engage with technology before they decide that tech is just not for them. That matters in Pittsburgh. It matters so much. You know, Audrey and I are so passionate about that. But TOYZ Electronics is approaching that challenge from a different angle by blending storytelling, immersive experiences, digital twins, and AI-powered engagement in a way that aims to make technology pathways feel more visible, more personal, and of course, more reachable. That's what we want. Maybe the future of innovation is not just about building better technology. Maybe it's about helping more people see they can build it too. So glad you joined us today. To learn more about TOYZ Electronics, go to toyzelectronics.com. And my goodness, keep on coming back every Sunday. We love having you here. Love giving you that front row seat to great stories like this happening across Pittsburgh's tech ecosystem. This has been Jonathan Kirsting with the Pittsburgh Technology Council. And please check out pghtech.org to learn all the ways the Tech Council can help your tech company succeed. And of course, if you want TechVibe anytime, you can get it wherever you download your podcasts. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your Sunday, everybody. Thanks for geeking out with us on TechVibe Radio. Tune in next Sunday for more tech and innovation stories right here from Pittsburgh. Get TechVibe wherever you get your podcasts and never miss a show. TechVibe is brought to you by the generous support of Compunetics at compunetics.com, Chorus Call at choruscall.com, Highmark at highmark.com, Huntington Bank at huntington.com, the Kindling Culture Agency at thekindlingagency.com, PNC Bank at pnc.com, Savior at savior.com, and Studio Me at studiomeproductions.com. TechVibe proudly broadcasts from the Huntington Bank Studios.